Namaskar. The topic of discussion in this module is on India and its neighbors. India is one of the fascinating countries in the world. It is an attractive country to the whole world due to its unique human resources. India has a very rich cultural heritage, varied topography, magnificent architectures, diverse religions, and a memorable history. India is the land of hills, deserts, rivers, oceans, mountains, plains, deltas and plateaus. The great Himalayas, Indo-Gangetic plains, the peninsular India, the western and eastern Ghats, the notable Thar desert, the Karakoram ranges, the unique Sundarban delta and the Nilgiri hills all bring out the spectacular splendor and world famous beauty of India everywhere. It is a nation of unity in diversity. India, which also has the traditional name as Bharat, is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. The name India owes its origin from the Greek word Indoi, meaning the land near the Indus. The Persians referred to the Indus river as Hindu and the land east of it as Hindustan. As the seventh largest country in the world, India stands apart from the rest of Asia, marked off as it is by mountains and the sea, which give the country a very distinct geographical entity. Bounded by the great Himalayas in the north, it stretches southwards and at the Tropic of Cancer tapers off into the Indian Ocean between the Bay of Bengal on the east and the Arabian Sea on the west. It has achieved all-round socio-economic progress during the last 62 years after independence. India has become self-sufficient in agricultural production and is now one of the top industrialized countries in the world and one of the few nations to have gone into the outer space to conquer the nature for the benefit of the people. India covers an area of about 3.287 million square kilometers, extending from the snow-covered Himalayas to the tropical rainforest of the south. Let us see the spatial factors of India. India occupies about 2.4% of the world's land area. After Russia, China, Canada, USA, Brazil and Australia, India is the seventh largest country in the world. The demographic situation in India is diverse and supports 17.5% of the world's population, becoming the second most populated country in the world after China. The country is lying between latitudes 8 degrees 4 minutes north to 37 degrees 6 minutes north and from longitudes 68 degrees 7 minutes east to 97 degrees 25 minutes east. India is divided into almost two equal parts by the Tropic of Cancer, which passes through the locality Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh. The southernmost point of Indian territory is located in the Great Nicobar Island. It is called as the Indira Point, while Kanyakumari, known as the Cape Comorin, is the southernmost point of the Indian mainland. The country thus lies wholly in the northern and eastern hemispheres. The 82 degrees 30 minutes east longitude is taken as the standard time meridian for India as it passes through the middle of India from Naini near Allahabad. The geography of India describes the physical features of the country located in the southern part of Asia. The country lies entirely in the Indian plate in the northern portion of the Indo-Australian plate. India measures 3,214 kilometers from north to south and 2,993 kilometers from east to west. It has a land frontier of 15,200 kilometers and a coastline of 7,517 kilometers. India is the only country which has given its name to the ocean as Indian Ocean, which is entirely encircled by 46 countries. India is bounded to the southwest by the Arabian Sea, to the southeast by the Bay of Bengal, and to the south by the Indian Ocean. The Maldives, Sri Lanka and Indonesia are island nations to the south of India. Sri Lanka is separated from India by the Gulf of Mannar and the narrow channel of Palk Strait. The territorial waters of India extend into the sea to a distance of 12 nautical miles, that is roughly about 22.2 kilometers. It is measured from the appropriate baseline from India. Physiographically, the country is divided into three main geographical regions and geological regions as the Indo-Gangetic plain, the Himalayan regions and the peninsular region. The Indo-Gangetic plain and those portions of the Himalayas within India are collectively known as North India. South India consists of the peninsular region, often termed simply the peninsula. On the basis of its physiography, India is divided into 10 regions: the Indo-Gangetic plain, the northern mountains of the Himalayas, the central highlands, the Deccan or peninsular plateau, the east coast, that is the Coromandel coast of South India, the west coast, which includes the Konkan and Malabar coast, the Great Indian Desert, a geographic feature known as the Thar Desert, the valley of the Brahmaputra in Assam, the northeastern hill ranges surrounding the Assam valley, and the islands of the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. Several major rivers, including the Ganges, Brahmaputra and the Indus, flow through India. Arising in the northern mountains and carrying rich alluvial soil to the plains below, these mighty rivers have supported agriculture based civilizations for several thousand years in India. The land frontier of the country is 15,200 kilometers and the total length of the coastline is 7,517 kilometers. India's population is the second largest in the world after China. In 1st March 2001, it was at 1028 million with 532.1 million males and 496.4 million females. The average annual exponential growth rate stands at 1.93% during the year 1991 to 2001. The crude birth rate according to the old census was about 24.8. The crude death rate was about 8.9. The life expectancy rate of Indians is 63.9 years for males and 66.9 years for females. In India, there is a great diversity of landforms such as lofty mountains, deep valleys, extensive plains and a number of islands. The mainland comprises of 4 regions, namely the Great Mountain Zone, plains of the Ganga and the Indus, the desert region and the southern peninsula. Let us see the size and shape of the country India. India is almost quadrangular in shape. The Indian peninsula tapers southward, resulting in the division of the Indian Ocean into 2 water bodies as the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. The geographical area of India accounts for 2.4% of the total world area and roughly 16% of the world population. The mainland of India has a coastline of 6,100 kilometers, including the Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The coastline measures about 7,517 kilometers. In India, of the total land mass, the plains occupy 43.3%, the plateaus occupy 27.7%, the hills occupy 18.6% and the mountains occupy 10.7%. In the south, on the eastern side, the Gulf of Mannar and the Palk Strait separate India from Sri Lanka. The total land neighbors are 7 in number. They are Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Myanmar. India's islands include the Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal, and Lakshadweep, Minicoy and Amindiv Islands in the Arabian Sea. India's borders run a total length of 15,106 kilometers. Its borders with Pakistan and Bangladesh were delineated according to the Radcliffe Line, which was created in 1947 during the partition of India. Its western border with Pakistan extends up to 3,323 kilometers, dividing the Punjab region and running along the boundaries of the Thar Desert and the Rann of Kutch. Both India and Pakistan delineated a line of control LOC to serve as the informal boundary between the India and Pakistan administered areas of Kashmir. India's border with Bangladesh runs to 4,096.7 kilometers. The Teen-Biga Corridor is a strip of land formerly belonging to India on the West Bengal Bangladesh border, which has been leased indefinitely to Bangladesh so that it can access its Degram Angalpata enclaves continuously. The line of actual control is the effective border between India and the People's Republic of China. It is called LAC, line of actual control. It traverses 4,057 kilometers along the Indian states of Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. Both nations lay claim to the Aksai Chin region of northeastern Kashmir, which fell into Chinese control during the Sino-Indian War of 1962. The border with Burma, Myanmar extends up to 1,643 kilometers along the southern borders of India's northeastern states. Located amidst the Himalayan range, India's border with Bhutan runs to 699 kilometers and the border with Nepal runs to 1,751 kilometers along the foothills of the Himalayas in northern India. The Siliguri Corridor, narrowed sharply by the borders of Bhutan, Nepal and Bangladesh, connects peninsular India with the northeastern states. Let us see the third important aspect of India's neighbors. India is bordered by Afghanistan and Pakistan to the northwest, China, Bhutan and Nepal to the north, Myanmar to the east and Bangladesh to the east of West Bengal. Sri Lanka is separated from India by a narrow channel of sea formed by Palk Strait and the Gulf of Mannar. Afghanistan is one of the closest neighbors of India. The Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan is a landlocked country located in Central Asia. Afghanistan has a small border with India and China to the northeast. India provides humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan and also helps in establishing education centers, hospitals and other amenities in Afghanistan. It is believed to be a hotbed for various extremists and terrorist organizations, and gradually the situation is changing. Hence, the relations with Afghanistan has been of security and strategic importance to India always. Bangladesh is another closest neighbor of India. The People's Republic of Bangladesh is surrounded by India, Myanmar and the Bay of Bengal. Bangladesh was formerly known as East Pakistan, one of the 5 provinces into which Pakistan was divided at its creation time when Britain's former Indian Empire was partitioned in August 1947. East Pakistan became an independent entity and named as Bangladesh on the December 16th of 1971, following a civil war in which India actively supported the East. India faces some security problems due to illegal immigration of extremists and terrorists and profound smuggling from that country. In this regard, India has been erecting fences all along the border with Bangladesh, which has been the cause of straining relations between the two countries. Bhutan is another bordering country with India. The kingdom of Bhutan, the land of the thunder dragon, lies in the eastern Himalayas, bordered north by China and on all other sides by India. It has very high mountains, fertile valleys and thick forests. Free education is available, but there are insufficient facilities to accommodate all school age children. Many students receive higher technical training in India. Though Bhutan for long resisted the lure of tourism, it is the principal source of foreign exchange now. The kingdom was open to tourism in the autumn of 1974. Trade with India always dominates. China is the major country having its border with India. The People's Republic of China is the most populous country in the world and the third largest in this region. China is made of 22 provinces, 5 autonomous regions and 4 municipalities. It occupies most of the habitable mainland of East Asia. Lately, China and India have started taking measures to improve relationships, primarily the border relations and border issues. China has accepted Sikkim to be the part of India, and India has in turn accepted that Tibet is a part of autonomous region of China. Both the countries constituted joint committees to look into these issues. The Republic of Maldives is an island nation existing in the oceanic boundaries of India. The Republic of Maldives, lying about 675 kilometers southwest of Sri Lanka, consists of more than 1,200 small coral islands grouped into 19 atolls in the northern Indian Ocean. India has the best relationship with Maldives. Whenever there is an urgent need, India promptly supported the Maldives. Myanmar is another country existing along the easternmost border of India. The Union of Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, is located in East Asia with a coastline along the Bay of Bengal. It is flanked by India and Bangladesh to its west, China to its north, Laos and Thailand to its east. Known as the rice bowl of Far East, Myanmar also grows sugarcane, peanuts and beans. It is the world's second largest illicit producer of opium poppy next to Afghanistan. Nepal is another country located nearer to India's border. The Kingdom of Nepal is a landlocked country in the Himalayan mountain range. It is bounded on the north by the Tibet and India on the all other sides. The major trading partner to Nepal is India. Tourism is the second largest industry and is being promoted by the construction of new tourist centers in Kathmandu valleys. Major tourist attractions include Lumbini, the birthplace of Buddha, and the Himalayan mountain range including the Mount Everest. About 30% of the tourists are from India. In February 1996, India and Nepal signed 2 agreements including an initiative for sharing the water and electricity from Mahakali river. Pakistan is a famous neighboring country to India. The Islamic Republic of Pakistan is bordered in the north and west by Afghanistan, southwest by Iran and east by India. At the time of independence from the British Empire, India was divided into a secular India and an Islamic Pakistan on the basis of the two-nation theory. The Indo-Pakistan relationships are always under discussion due to the world-known reasons. However, cordial relationship prevails among the population of both the countries in various dimensions. Sri Lanka is an island nation located as a bordering country to India. The Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka is an island in the Indian Ocean about 80 kilometers east of the southern tip of India, separated by the Palk Strait. On several activities, India has strong bilateral relationship with Sri Lanka. It has a lot of channels of cultural exchange with India as well. The fourth important aspect is about Indian kingdoms and empires. India carries a rich cultural legacy. It was one of the few early centers which saw the emergence of civilization along with Mesopotamia, Egypt and China. The people of India have had a continuous civilization since 2500 before Christ, when the inhabitants of the Indus River Valley developed an urban culture based on commerce and sustained by agricultural trade. This civilization declined around 1500 BC, probably due to ecological changes. During the second millennium BC, pastoral Aryan speaking tribes migrated from the northwest into the subcontinent. As they settled in the middle Ganges river valley, they adapted to antecedent cultures. The period of early civilization was followed by the Vedic age, the period of Jnanapadas, the emergence of Mauryas, Guptas and the Deccan kingdoms. The history of India dates back to more than 5000 years. A number of small kingdoms and larger empires flowered and later declined in the Indus River Valley and also in the surrounding region. None of these ever managed to rule the entire region, but some became quite powerful and wealthy. The kingdom of Magadha around 550 BC, a small kingdom in the northern part of the region known as the Magadha kingdom, began to expand and flourish. Led by an aggressive king by the name of Bhimsara, Magadha expanded its borders. The Mauryan Empire, Maurya, was a skilled leader and politician as well as military leader. He expanded the kingdom of Magadha into the Mauryan Empire. Maurya developed infrastructure such as roads, bridges and a post office that would help his empire to flourish for almost 150 years. Next comes the Gupta Empire. For 490 years following the fall of the Mauryan Empire, the Indian people would remain under the rule of small city states. Then in AD 310, a new leader emerged who would begin again to unify India. This leader's name was Chandragupta. Chandragupta set up his capital in the old kingdom of Magadha. During this period, known as India's golden age, Hindu culture and political administration reached new heights. The Guptas' return to Hinduism is yet another important milestone in the history of India. After the death of one of their greatest kings, the Chandragupta II, the Gupta Empire began to fall apart. New leaders were not as effective in the ruling of the government. As the government became weaker, invaders from the northwest were able to weaken and ultimately destroy the empire. Islam spread across the Indian subcontinent over a period of 500 years. In the 10th and 11th centuries, Turks and Afghans invaded India and established sultanates in Delhi. In the early 16th century, descendants of Genghis Khan swept across the Khyber Pass and established the Mughal Dynasty, which lasted for about 200 years. From the 11th to 15th centuries, southern India was dominated by Chola and Vijayanagar dynasties. During this time, two systems, the prevailing Hindu and Muslim, mingled together, leaving lasting cultural influences on each other, which is continued even today. The first British outpost in South Asia was established in 1619 at Surat on the northwestern coast. Later, the East India Company opened permanent trading stations at Madras, Bombay and Calcutta, each under the protection of native rulers. The British expanded their influence from these footholds until the 1850s, and the Britishers controlled most of the present day India, Pakistan and Bangladesh. In 1857, a rebellion in North India led by the mutinous Indian soldiers caused the British Parliament to transfer all political power from the East India Company to the Crown. The Great Britain began administering most of India directly while controlling the rest through treaties with local rulers. Beginning in 1920, Indian leader Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi transformed the Indian National Congress political party into a mass movement to campaign against British colonial rule. The party used both parliamentary and non-violent resistance and non-cooperation to achieve independence. On the August 15, 1947, India became a dominion within the Commonwealth with Jawaharlal Nehru as the first Prime Minister. After that, we had a lot of development happen in India, and India is one of the greatest nations in the world. let us see the states and union territories of India. India adopts the sovereign socialist democratic republic with a parliamentary system of government. The capital of India is located at New Delhi. Its administrative divisions include 28 states and 7 union territories. India got its independence on 15th August 1947 from the British colonial rule. The Constitution of India came into force on the 26th of January 1950. The Constitution of India is the fountain source of the legal system in this country. It was written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The President of India is the head of the state, while the Prime Minister is the head of the government, and he runs or she runs the office with the support of the Council of Ministers, who together form the Cabinet Ministry. The Indian legislature comprises of the Lok Sabha, which is called as the House of the People, and the Rajya Sabha, which is called as the Council of States, forming both the houses of the Parliament. The Supreme Court of India is the apex body of the Indian legal system, followed by the other high courts and subordinate courts. The national flag is a horizontal tricolor of deep saffron at the top, white in the middle, and dark green at the bottom in equal proportion. At the center of the white band is a navy blue colored wheel, which is the representation of Ashoka Chakra at Sarnath. India's national anthem begins as Jana Gana Mana, as written by the great poet Rabindranath Tagore. The national emblem is the replica of the lion capital of Sarnath. The national animal of India is tiger. The national bird is peacock. The national flower is lotus. The national tree is the banyan tree. The national fruit of India is mango. India's national currency is the famous Indian rupee. The national sport of India is hockey. In India, the reorganization of states on linguistic basis was started in the year 1960. India is divided into 28 states, which are further subdivided into districts, and 7 union territories. The 28 states and 7 union territories of India are Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Orissa, Punjab, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, West Bengal. The union territories of India include the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, the Lakshadweep, and the National Capital Territory of Delhi. Puducherry is yet another union territory of India. When India got independence, 10 small enclaves belonging to the French and the Portugal were not included. The government of India asked France and Portugal to hand over them. Only France could do it in the year 1949. With great difficulty and efforts, India could restore the domain occupied by the Portuguese only in the year 1961. India is the largest democracy in the world. India is a picture of diversity seen in its population, colorful festivals, dress and costumes, religions, fauna and flora. India is also a nuclear power. Its security concerns have been to some extent allayed by the possession of nuclear weapons, though fears remain of an expensive military expenditure to sustain the nuclear programs. Dr. Romain Rolland, the famous French dramatist, novelist, essayist, art historian and mystic, who was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1915, wrote like this: "Today, India is one of the most exciting emerging markets in the world. Skilled managerial and technical manpower that match the best available in the world, and a middle class whose size exceeds the population of the USA or the European Union provide India with a distinct cutting edge in global competition. If there is one place on the face of the earth where all the dreams of living men have found a home from every earliest days when man began to the dream of existence, it is India. India is the greatest nation in the world.